Creating a digital learning experience in the music classroom is fun not only for the student but for the teacher as well. It is a way to make the learning experience more hands-on, creative, and incorporates technology, which is essential for the student learners of today. I've created a lesson for my music theory class that incorporates several tools, and I've made the lesson on a web page, which I will show you. The students will be creating a music composition on their iPhones or iPads. First thing I will do is show the students some examples of what a composition would look like made on iPads or iPhones. And I'll just show you a random spot here.
See, but every time she asks me, do I look okay? I say, and then I see your face. There's not a thing that I...
There's a few examples here for them to look at. Then the second step will be to have the students look at different applications available on their iPads or their iPhones. Here are a few, and here is a website full of similar applications that they can look at and explore. I've created groups on Edmodo, which I will show you a little bit later, and the goal will be for the students to write an 8 to 16 measure tune to be performed on instrument applications available on their iPhones or iPads. Finished compositions should be written out on a score and prepared on Finale Notepad, which I will also show you, and the students are very familiar with this already. They will submit their final composition onto Edmodo. In past years, I've assigned similar composition projects in classes that did not involve technology. Students previously would have had to notate and write out their short compositions on staff paper. Their performances would have been on real instruments, and if they did not play that particular instrument, the performance of the composition could prove to be very difficult. In past years, I would not have created groups on Edmodo, because I didn't use Edmodo. The students would have had assigned groups randomly in class, and this way I can pre-assign groups and have final projects saved on Edmodo. This keeps both the student and the teacher much more organized in the long run. Here are the tools that would be used in the project. I chose these tools because the students are already familiar with them and because I use them throughout the year. The first tool that I use is Edmodo. All of my classes and extracurricular groups are on Edmodo. It's easy to assign groups from within a class on Edmodo. I can show you that here. I already have groups assigned from my music theory classroom from a previous project. They can also turn in all their assignments, and you can see very easily who has turned in their assignments and who has not turned in their assignments. I really like getting the assignments turned in on Edmodo because you can review them, you never lose a paper, and it's a very organized way to get assignments. As you can see here, I even use them in my 7th grade cycle classes, and it's very easy for the students to use. The second use of technology is Finale Notepad. And I have an example of a Finale Notepad score that some students have written. Their assignment was to create an arrangement, and they wrote all this into the Finale Notepad, and this is a short example of how it comes out so we can hear. And the last application that I've used is the iPads or the iPhones, which right now we don't have a lab for, but I am hoping to have one in the near future. This lesson is ideal because it has something in it for all three types of learners. The visual learner, who learns best by seeing, the auditory learner, who learns by hearing, and the kinesthetic learner, who learns best by feeling or experiencing. Visual learners prefer to use images, pictures, colors, and maps to organize information and communicate. They can easily visualize objects, plans, and outcomes. In this lesson, the visual learner can see videos of examples and will learn and create using iPad or iPhone apps that are extremely visual in nature. The auditory learner learns through listening. An auditory learner depends on hearing and speaking as a main way of learning. Since this is a musical composition project, the auditory learner will learn through hearing melodies and rhythms that are created on the iPad or iPhone. They will be able to hear examples as a guide. They will also be able to hear other group projects as well as their own after it is recorded and posted on Edmodo. The kinesthetic learners learn by carrying out physical activity rather than listening to a lecture or watching a demonstration. Students will be able to touch the iPad or iPhone to produce the sounds and create the music. Overall, the use of technology in the classroom has helped students of all learning styles remain engaged, organized, and become more productive.